As above, so below. Welcome in, my old souls. Alright, welcome to my YouTube channel. These are general readings, so use your discernment on if these are for you or not. But today, we're going to be doing a reading on the new moon in Pisces, which happens to be the last new moon of the zodiac belt. So we're leaving the astrological year. This will be the last new moon, and we're going into the new year with Aries. And if you're spiritual and you're into astrology, then you already know that we consider Aries season and the spring equinox to be the real new year. So that's what we're headed into. So we're going to take this Pisces energy, this dreamy energy, and soak in all our intentions into how we feel with our emotions, with all of that. And that's how we're going to be heading towards this new moon. So get ready to do your new moon rituals. I would highly suggest doing a new moon ritual. If you don't do rituals, look them up, and you can do rituals with candles. You can make up your own ritual. There's lots of things that you can do. So look up new moon rituals for how you want to celebrate the new moon. Alright guys, so we're going to jump into the tarot. And what we have here, and what I feel like with the new moon, is saying that you have taken a lot of challenging things. You may even have been betrayed by people that are around you. You have different things going on where you just feel like you are, you've taken as much as you can take. That's usually how I feel when I see this card. And it's true, you've taken all the swords in your back that you can take. And now it's time. But then the nice thing about when you have a 10 card is that that's the end of a cycle. So you're coming up onto new beginnings, and that literally is what the new moon is represents to me, is time for new beginnings, time to set those intentions and have those intentions come in. So we have the Sun card, and what I'm getting with this is that let a little bit of sunshine in your life. There's things that you can be happy about. There's things that you can be very joyful about despite going through these challenges. And that's what I'm getting, is like you're gonna let that light shine bright in your life, and you're gonna let people even know that you are the light. You're the light that is shining bright. Because here with this card, that's exactly what it's saying. You are the light. You are gonna tell everybody that. You have your horn blowing to let the world know that you are shining bright, and you are not going to let your challenges and the things that happen, or the people that are not the right people in your life, you're not going to let that hold you back. So here with the Hangman, what we have here is the universe letting you know, like, hey, hang out for a little bit, hang out with yourself, and you're going to get that sun shining right out of your head, because you're shining that bright, and you're gonna let yourself enjoy life, let yourself enjoy that happiness. But with this card coming out right here, you're gonna realize that within, that not only do you shine bright, but it is your purpose, it is your truth to shine bright. And that's what I'm getting with this new moon, is you have a lot of energy coming in of you unapologetically being who you are, unapologetically being yourself. As I'm tripping over my words, we are in the last days of the Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is going to go direct on the 20th. So we have a lot of different energies this week. We have a lot of different things coming up, which I'm going to do another YouTube video for the spring equinox and the Aries season. And I think those two are on the same day, so I'll just combine that reading into one. So we have Aries season coming up. We have the spring equinox. We have the new moon tomorrow. We have Mercury retrograde ending. There's so much energy going on this week. And I feel like these are, all these energies combined always have a purpose. So that's gonna, with Mercury retrograde ending and the new moon and the spring equinox, you have a lot of energy for new beginnings coming in. So I just seen 444 on my timer. So, know that you're being protected during this. And, my new shirt, it says 888 on it. Just know that you also have abundance coming in. And that's what I'm getting from that. So, the Page of Cups. What I'm getting with this, with these new beginnings that, you know, I feel are coming in, you're gonna establish different ways of just loving life. That's what I'm really getting, is you're gonna find the way to like really keep the sun shining in your life. You're gonna find that new perspective, that new outlook on how you feel about everything. And there could just be people coming in as well to give you offers that are tied to some type of emotion, are tied to how you feel, are tied to how they feel, and they're gonna let you know how they feel. And that's what I'm really getting, especially with these new beginnings coming in. That could very well be with different people in your life. It could be with different situations, or it could be how you feel. So you could have somebody coming in letting you know how they feel about you. And the way that you are right now, with you shining bright and everything that's going on, these new beginnings, you know, make sure that these people are allowing you to tell your truth and speak about who you really are, because that's very important. It's always important to be yourself. It's always important to speak your truth and know who you are and be who you are. And I really feel like, you know, with this Page of Cups energy, that's what you're going to do. You're going to let people know who you are, what you're about, and you're not going to have any problem doing that, because you're being yourself and you're being who you are meant to be by stepping into these new beginnings and letting go of these challenging times that you have going on. So bottom of the deck, we have the the Eight of Wands, and this to me is such a positive card, and it can mean like these things are coming in. You're on the road to progressing towards what you want, and it's coming in, and it's coming in fast, and you're gonna have changes coming. And I did see 555 on the timer as I was filming this. I just didn't say it. So, you know, with this card, with the 555, just know that you have changes coming in, and you might not even expect what's coming in. It might just blindside you, to be honest with you. So we're going to move on to the Sacred Forest Oracle. We have the Mystic Meadow Sanctuary. And I feel like with this card, and it has, you know, the beautiful forest and the animals on it, but I feel like what this card is saying, you know, and especially with the Hanged Man, is you're going to be making your own sanctuary. You're going to be letting yourself hang with yourself and trust that everything is coming in that is meant to come in. And, you know, the sun on this card, that reminds me of, too, like the springtime. It's about to get sunny out. You're about to be able to experience those things. But this sanctuary, I really feel like is saying that is you going within and using yourself as that sanctuary. Now, me, personally, for this new moon, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm on a 3-day water fast. I started on Sunday night at 4 in the morning. Don't ask me about that. But, you know, so during this new moon, I will be fasting, and I will be, you know, doing my meditations and doing my rituals and doing the things that I want to do to connect to the new moon. So I highly encourage you to do that. And with this sanctuary, that kind of is what that reminds me of, you know, going within and finding that, you know, those reasons for growth, because that's what we have next. That's what I feel like, you know, your inner sanctuary is going to lead you to the growth within. And there's no better time right now than to let yourself grow and expand and become what you want to become, and to bring in the things that you want to bring in, because we just went through the winter time, and I can't believe how fast this winter went by. You know, I've been doing a lot of things during the winter time to help, you know, speed up my growth and to help with my inner sanctuary. So I really feel like this is just saying, you know, now that we've taken all that time to go within, now is the time to let ourselves grow and expand. Because, you know, during the winter time, it feels like it was a lot of like hermit energy, you know, like, and then the hermit card was kind of stalking me during the winter time as well. So, you know, I use that to my advantage. I use the downtime to my advantage. So we have the Water Spirit manifesting dreams. And I feel like, you know, this is saying like, you know, with your growth and your inner sanctuary, you're going to be manifesting your dreams. And with all this energy of like the new moon and all these intentions that you're gonna set, when you're setting your intentions for the new moon, you know, set your intentions on things that you really want to manifest, the things that you want to bring in. and allow yourself to really connect with the moon when you're doing that. And that's one of the reasons why I suggest doing a ritual, because that will help you connect to the moon. It will help you connect to yourself. When it gets warmer out, you can even go and sit under the moon and do some of these things that you want to do these rituals, because that's a beautiful thing, to be able to sit out in nature, to be able to sit underneath the moon and do those kind of things. So we have the ancient oak spirit strength. And as you can see, it looks like it's nighttime out. Well, it is nighttime out in this picture. And that was what it just literally reminds me of, sitting on a tree and sitting underneath the moon and doing your rituals. But you have that strength coming in. You have strength coming in from you going within and you allowing yourself to grow. Because next to that, we have the bear spirit healing. So you have 2 cards in this reading that have bears on them. So bears could be a significant synchronicity for you. But you have healing, and you see this card with all the snow on it. It's like we're coming out of winter and we're going into the spring, which is literally what is happening in a couple days. So you're coming out of that hibernation. That's what I want to say. You're coming out of the hibernations because you've been doing so much healing, and this healing has given you strength. It's giving you the room to grow, and it's really giving you the time to think about what you really want to manifest and what you really want to bring in. And like 2026, I think, is going to be such a great year for so many people, as far as like bringing in what they want to bring in and bringing in like what they've been working on for so long. And I really truly feel that I feel that in my soul, even for myself. So as a collective, the more that we go after what we desire, the more that it brings up the consciousness of the planet. And that's one thing that I always am going to root for and going to work on, is raising the vibration of the planet. So I do what I do so that I can bring others into that. And I really hope that, when I can build a big collective on here, that you guys are, will join me into raising the collective consciousness, because it's so amazing when we can, like, you can literally think that you could do something and it could help another person. It could help raise the vibration of like the entire planet. Like that's pretty powerful thing to think about when you really sit there and think about how your actions and you doing good and you putting all this love into yourself so that it can spill out over into the world, and that is helping the world heal. It's helping the world heal and become stronger. Like, how awesome is that? How cool is that to think about, really? So I pulled some cards from the bird spirit animal deck, and we have the goal. So seagull, adaptability, balance, and caution. And I feel like, seagulls, when you're at the beach and you see the seagulls, like, they kind of get a bad rap, but I also feel like, and especially with seagulls and pigeons, that like they get messed with by people, and that's what over years time has allowed them to become what people consider to be pests. But I don't look at any animal as a pest, like, there's beauty in all animals that are put on this earth, and everything was put on here for a reason, even though I don't understand what the reason for a mosquito is, because well, I just don't understand what their purpose is on this planet. But but like, seagulls have learned to be very adaptable, and that's what I'm getting, is like, learn to adapt to these changes that are coming in, because even if they're coming in hard and they're coming in fast, use your adaptability and be flexible to move along with everything that's coming in, because you have balance coming in. And with this seagull, the universe just wants you to know to be cautious of how you spread out your energy, of how you're letting things in and who you're around. So we have the egret, stateliness, beauty, and rarity. So you are a rarity, and you can see this beautiful bird on the card. You are a beauty. You are a rarity, and that's going to tie into your growth and your strength, and how you're showing up as the sun, how you're showing up as just not caring what other people think about you, and just really being yourself. You're gonna you're gonna have that beauty radiating without from within you, and people are gonna know that you are a rare. You're a rare. You're an old soul, and that's you know, you're here with me on this journey. So we have the cormorant, planning, transition, and commitment. And I apologize if I say any of these birds' names wrong or any of these words wrong. You know, I do like to read and stuff, but sometimes when I speak out loud, it doesn't always come out the way that it's supposed to say, and sometimes I just say things differently. So, just just a warning. But so you have planning, transition, and commitment, and I feel like this is saying you're about to commit to your journey. You're transitioning, you're planning, you're doing all the legwork of your journey to bring these things in, to bring your manifestations in, because you have the card that literally says you're manifesting your dreams. So we have the heron, patience, focus, and self-reliance. It's going to take patience. It's going to take you to be self-reliant and to really focus on your journey to get to where you want to be. And I often see these two kinds of birds out in nature, and sometimes they're kind of hard to tell apart, but, or maybe I'm thinking of the heron and the crane. Either way. So, you know, focus on your journey, focus on your manifestations, because you have a lot. You've been growing a lot. You've been putting in a lot of self-work. And I feel like with this hangman that came out, you know, and the strength card, like you really have been working on yourself during this winter time. And the, you know, the healing card, like you've done a lot of healing, and I can really feel that. So you have the swallow, hope, rapidity, hearth, and home. So what I'm getting with this is you have, you know, you have during this time, even when the times have gotten challenging, because we had that, you know, Ten of Swords, you know, you're coming out from being inside of your head, and you have the strength to do that, and the universe wants you to know not to give up hope, even during those challenging times. And I know that I keep going back over each card, but like they all tie into each other, and that's how I feel like, you know, this particular reading just ties in together. Everything is tying in together so great. But you know, the universe wants you to know not to give up hope. You have, you know, and these two birds, they're playing together or they're flying together. Like, you know, you have support. You have stability all around you, and that's what I'm getting from that. And you see that, like, that feather off to the side? Maybe you're seeing feathers, or maybe you collect feathers. I collect feathers. I love birds so much, and that's why I have a lot of cards that have birds on it. But I also really love animals, and that's why I also have a lot of decks that have animals on it. So that's just me. Like, I love the spirit animals, I love the birds, and I love finding feathers. So maybe the universe is going to leave you a feather. Maybe in your moment of doubt, you'll see a feather on the ground. When you see a white feather, that means that spirit is around you, just so you know. So if you're seeing a white feather, maybe you're out hiking, or maybe you're inside of a place and you might just come across a white feather. You never know. You can find anything. You know, the universe is full of mystery. The universe is full of surprises, and it's always doing, you know, when it shows us these synchronicities, it's just doing things for us that, you know, sometimes are just so magical. You're like, how did that happen? I have very many stories I could tell you that I'm sure I will tell you over time about different things that have happened to me with different synchronicities, even feathers, or just anything in general where it's like, wow, that was so magical. That was so, you know, I know that that's the universe speaking to me. I know that the divine has my side because they sent me this sign. All right, so I pulled some cards from the Black Moon astrology deck. So we have Leo, I will. So Leo, you know, they're very determined. They're very determined and motivated people. And even though they may come across as being conceited at times, they're, you know, they really are genuine people. They, you know, they kind of just like, I don't want to like say they know they're the shit, but they kind of do, you know. And so, but what I'm getting with this is like, you will do everything that you have planned out right now. You will go after everything you want to go after, and you will go after that with confidence and knowing that you are the real deal. You are the shit, and you're gonna know that. So we have Saturn return age. So the Saturn return comes up with a few challenges, and that's usually between 27 and 30, and I want to say it's 56 to 59. So, depending on what your age is, you could be going through your Saturn return right now. But just know that, like, these challenges that the Saturn return puts into your life, these are challenges to set you up for, the responsibilities that you're going to have in life, the things that you need to get done. And with that Leo coming out with your Saturn return, you're going to get through your challenges, no doubt. It doesn't cross my mind that you won't get through the things that you need to get through. So maybe your Saturn return is upcoming. Maybe you just went through it. Maybe it's coming up. Any of these, put it in where it fits in. That's what I'm trying to say. So then we have the air element communicating. You're gonna be telling people. You're gonna be using your power through communication. And I'm a Gemini, so I know all about communication, which is tied to Mercury. So you have your air element coming out. You're gonna take your willpower and you're gonna communicate to the world. Maybe even speaking your truth. Like letting people know that you know who you are. And that could be tied into, it's just an air element. So it could be any of the air signs in your chart. It could just be you communicating using that Mercury energy. So we have part of fortune increase. So what I feel like this is saying is that all of this stuff combined is gonna, your finances are gonna increase. You're going to increase your abundance. And that's going to come through speaking your truth. It could be anything, You could be doing seminars. You could be making videos like me. You could just be talking to people in their everyday lives and helping them change how they feel, or talking to yourself in the mirror. There's some type of communication that you're going to be doing that's going to be helping you to get this part of your fortune. And it's going to increase. Your fortune is increasing, which I think, how can that not tie into manifesting your dreams? We all want more fortune. We all want, more wealth. It's just, what are you going to do with that? And how are you going to use that wealth? So we have the last card that I pulled from that deck is the 4th house roots. So you're going back to your roots. And I really feel like part of your fortune, these all tie in together. Part of your fortune increase is going to be speaking up and doing it. But it's also going to be connected to your 4th house, which is family, relationships. It could be where you live, your neighborhood, where you work, things of that nature. So your 4th house, your ancestry, your roots, like literally your roots is where your 4th house ties into. So you have wealth coming in through your 4th house. So I pulled a couple spirit animal cards for this reading to end it. And let me know, drop me a comment in the comment if this is resonating with you and you're feeling the new moon reading. I would like to know if you're going to do any rituals or just things that you might do. Just drop it in the comment and let me know. All right, so the first card I pulled for the spirit animal deck is Polar Bear Mystic. Know that challenges make you stronger. Have faith when you face adversity. Take time to rest, dream, and renew your strength. Embrace your psychic abilities. You carry the shaman within. And I really feel like this really ties into, this Pisces. The new moon is in Pisces, and we have that psychic energy. So I feel like you're going to be tapping into your psychic energy, and you are a mystic. You're part of that psychic family. And, you're going to take time to rest, and you might, because it says rest, dream, and renew your strength. So I think, you might catch some downloads in your dreams. There you could get psychic downloads. But anytime you see a polar bear, know that it's reminding you that you are that mystic, you are that psychic person, and this full moon is going to help you connect to that. So we have Coyote, revealer of truth. Don't take things too seriously. Make time to play. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own folly. Look out for the traps and the tricks of life and learn from them. So this is saying, have a little bit of fun. Don't take life so seriously. And it's also tied, you have this card, speaking your truth. Like you are getting ready to really speak your truth. You're really getting ready to shine bright, and you're not gonna let anybody bring you down. You're not going to let anybody stop you from having fun. You're really growing and you're really expanding during this full moon, and this is just such beautiful energy. Like, I just got chills just now, so like I know that I'm speaking to somebody out here. And just just use your discernment and really tap into that psychic energy of the Pisces moon. And I really think, you know, doing all the things that you might do for the new moon, or if this is your first time doing something for the new moon, get out there and do that. It's going to be beautiful. All right, guys. So you can tap the link in my bio for a personal reading. Tomorrow I will be going live on TikTok. I haven't quite figured out the time yet. I know that's a different platform, but I'm going to start going live on TikTok and doing live readings. But if you're interested in that, you can follow me on TikTok. It's all in my bio on the link tree. You can tap any of that. I have all my socials on there. I have how you could do your personal reading. All of that is in the link in my bio. And also, like, comment, share. If you think somebody would like this reading, share it out to a friend. And also, tap the notification bell so you can know when I post a reading, and then you can be always caught up with what's going on. And if you like me and you're digging me and you want to be a part of this old soul community, I would love to have you here. I would love you to be a part of my community and a part of us old souls, us star seeds, us divine beings growing together. And if you're not any of that, that's okay. You can always resonate with me. I'm here to help you. I'm here to build this community of this old souls. But remember, guys, to always believe in yourself. Anything is possible. I love you guys so much, and until next time, happy full moon, or happy new moon. All right, guys, goodbye. Love you.